The information that I'm going to share in this episode may shock you, or you may not be surprised at all. All I know is sharks are circling the waters because they smell blood. Welcome to hbrv Lifestyle, the podcast. I am the host, the Honey Badger, here to give it to you straight and transparent about the RV business, as well as other things. Now, I got a ton to get through, and it's going to be really hard to do in less than 30 minutes, but we're going to give it a shot. And everything that I am referencing, the articles that I'm referencing information from, will be linked in the description box below if you would like more context after the episode. Now, the RV manufacturers / RV factories, not all of them, but a lot of them, are in desperation mode. Now, instead of course correcting and fixing the problem, which every one of them have their own separate issues, but just attacking the problem and rebuilding trust with the RV community, they decide, hey, let's just release more propaganda through RV news agencies that the RV manufacturers can control the narrative. Let's have CEOs go on controlled podcasts and be thrown softball questions. Let's try to deflect all the problems and make people that are legitimately having Armageddon level problems, let's shove them aside and call it rumor. That's the reality. That's what we live in. That's the industry that I love so much because I've been a part of it. I've been a general manager, a finance manager, a sales manager, a tech. I've been, a porter. I've camped. It's an industry that I have loved for over a decade. And now I feel like I've been blacklisted from it because I'm telling the truth. Why would you be scared of the truth? And here's an example. There was an article released yesterday. And yes, the media agency that released the article is attached to an investment group. Keep that in mind because that's important later on. So remember that when I get into things a little bit later, okay? Investment group. Okay, remember I said sharks. I'm going to get to that in a minute. This is what happens when something happens at a level that the major media institutions like Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, these guys, people at that level, the New York Post, the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, they don't want to risk anything until a smaller media company exposes it. There's a history of this, okay? There's a history of small media companies like this company, Huntington, that expose something so big, and once it gains traction, then the bigger media agencies grab a hold of it and run with it. There's a history of this throughout the world, throughout the entire country, and they always reference the journalist that exposed the story first. They always get credit. But I got to give these folks credit to have the balls to talk about frame failure / frame flex and attaching Winnebago / Grand Design's name to it. I got to give them credit where credit's due. That's a ballsy move. Okay? And what it did for the people that I've talked to, the over 1,000 people that have communicated with me that have had frame failure or frame flex, and allegedly Grand Design RV has done several really shady things to these people, or made them feel like if they talk about it online, or if they talk about it with anybody, if they talk about it during or after, that they're not going to get their money back, that they're not going to get their rig fixed. All these allegations come from their own customers, and their own customers are belittled on social media and by people that are so in love with a Grand Design brand that they can't see in 2 feet in front of their face to know there's a problem. Where there's smoke, there's fire. where there's fire, there's somebody that started it. And if you don't bring in a good firefighter team, if you just keep letting the smoke burn and say, don't worry, eventually nature will run its course, then it's just going to continue to happen. Okay? Now, I may not agree with Liz Amazing. I may not like her style. I may not like how she does things. But that doesn't mean she's not a necessity. And she's one of the many people that has helped expose this. Okay? That being said, here's where the investment part comes in. When investment companies start to see blood, and this is blood, guys, because they're not handling it. The allegations from consumers of Grand Design, we're not talking about 5 or 10, we're talking about thousands of people that own any type of Grand Design RV. When they are going on Facebook groups, emailing me, emailing Pete and Lisa West, emailing Liz Amazing, and who knows how many emails Josh the RV Nerd gets, or Matt's RV Reviews. We don't know how many emails they may be getting. We don't even know if they check their own email because they're so busy. You guys know how that goes, right? So we don't know where the bleeding stops. And the bleeding didn't stop with 2024 year model, because there are people having frame failure problems with 2024 Momentums and 2024 Solitudes, allegedly. Okay? These are allegations by customers, not by me. All I am is just a middleman trying to give them a voice, because what's really sad, I'm getting a little off topic here, but what's really sad is to read an email from a single mom who decided to homeschool her kids, get her kids out of the city, travel the United States, travel Canada in a Grand Design fifth wheel that this young lady spent over $125,000 on. Okay? She's not a rich person. She financed it. She financed a truck. And to get an email from her that she is stuck somewhere in the central United States, and that allegedly Grand Design is not willing to help her because she full times. And it's her fault because she's abusing the fifth wheel. And those are allegations. I have no proof or evidence of that. I have to take her for her word. But she's scared to say anything on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube because of all the stories of non-disclosure agreements and people having their posts taken down and people who have been outspoken about the frame problem have been berated and have been treated like absolute garbage. She's afraid of that because she's a single mom with 3 kids. How would you feel? And I'm going to ask the corporate RV dealership YouTubers, how would you feel if a product that you represent, a product and a company that you promote with full force, foot down to accelerator, yes sir, I'll tell the public anything you want me to tell them because I'm a company guy, how would you feel for that family? Brand new. Not a used one, brand new. Supposed 5-year frame warranty. How would you feel about it? Just food for thought. These stories people are telling to investment groups, because investment groups, big hedge fund places, they look at a money-making opportunity. And they're like, you know what? If this is exposed, we accomplish 3 things. We accomplish maybe helping the people out there having this problem and help accelerate the recall process or the fixing process or the buyout process, wherever the case may be. Number two is they get to make a potload of money because they get to short the stock because they know it's going to cost Winnebago millions of dollars to get all this stuff done. And number three, hopefully, that other manufacturers will look at that and go, man, we don't want to do the same thing they did. So, does this company that wrote this article, that released this YouTube video that I have linked in the description box below, do they have skin in the game? Absolutely. But the reality is that's how it's done. Guys who have big, major hedge funds with billions and billions of dollars at stake hire journalists, independent, investigative journalists, to look into stuff like this because they're not going to gamble without having some kind of feeling of what's going on. And just imagine, you have Grand Design Major Issues, one of the biggest Facebook pages that has over 5,500 members. Imagine 5,500 people speaking to these investors, 5,500 people that are having major issues with a Grand Design product. Imagine that. And they're speaking out on that Facebook group. They're speaking out on other Facebook groups. People are getting the courage to speak out. And Grand Design's response? Propaganda on rvbusiness.com. Hershey was great. We are a leader. We are a leader in the RV industry. We're the best of the best and nothing's wrong. Or a Winnebago CEO going on an earnings call saying that the people, including myself, are spreading rumors that it's not true. Mr. CEO of Winnebago, I will promise you that if you picked up the phone to every customer that has gone on these Facebook pages, that has emailed me, possibly emailed your corporate RV dealership stooges, if you pick up the phone and call the people that have complained to your brand ambassadors, I swear to you, you will change your mind up here and never use the words rumor again along with frame flex / frame failure. I promise you that. I will promise you that I will never stop talking about it. I may not talk about it every day. I may not talk about it every month, but I will continue to remind people and educate people on what you guys have allegedly done. You have taken people's hard-earned savings, their hard-earned retirement. You have put people that retired and have a $50,000 a year income. You helped them build up this brand, and now a lot of them can't even use it. $125,000, $150,000 fifth wheel, and they can't use it. Imagine that. Imagine that. Crazy, right? So sharks are circling. They smell blood in the water. They're going to go after these guys. If you don't think that these folks did their due diligence, if you don't think that these billion-dollar hedge funds, these multi-billion-dollar hedge funds didn't do their homework on this, you are mistaken. Now, let me add something to this that may upset you. If you decide to buy a 2025 Grand Design product, it's too late if you bought a 2024 or 2023. Hey, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking if you go buy or order a 2025 Grand Design product with all the allegations, with now billion-dollar hedge funds looking like, ooh, yeah, dead fish coming. And you go buy a Grand Design product, you're a part of the problem. There are so many other options. There are so many other things that you can look at that do not have these allegations of frame failure. Yeah, they don't do the lighting that Grand Design does. Yeah, it doesn't have the prestige name. Yeah, the cabinets don't have the fit and finish. You can give me all that stuff. But if you go buy a 2025, you're a part of the problem. You're not a part of the solution. To be a part of the solution, to get them to do the right thing, it's not going to be the federal government. NHTSA's not going to do nothing. State senators, federal senators, they're not going to do anything. Now, that's not to say don't keep talking to your state senator. Don't stop talking to your federal government. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they ain't going to do shit anyway. The best way to make change with a company with the allegations that Grand Design has is you got to smack them straight in their wallet. Because let me tell you, stockholders of Winnebago will abandon ship if or when these allegations become fact. Which for a lot of you that are already having these problems, that are already having the issues that you've talked to me about, is already fact for you. But it's not a fact until more people speak up. And I'm going to encourage every single one of you that is having frame failure / frame flex and a Grand Design product, speak up. Let your voice be heard. The RV community, your fellow Americans, your fellow Canadians, your fellow RVers deserve to hear your voice about the problem. Don't be silent because you're afraid. Don't be silent because you're worried that you'll never get it fixed or you'll never get it bought back. You can do it. Let your voice be heard. You don't have to be a famous YouTuber or famous TikToker. Just tell your story without telling me or telling whoever you want to share it with that it's anonymous and you don't want anybody to find out who you are or what you do. Because that's the fear. That's how much fear this big corporation has put into everyday people that have bought their product. Whether it was intentional or not that doesn't matter. I don't care what their intentions were. It's how the people feel. And it's not one person. It's not 10 people. It's hundreds, if not thousands of people who every day sit and worry about something they're paying for that they can't even use. And I've been blacklisted. I know I have. I can't find an RV job anywhere. So I'm going to go into a different industry to make my main income until I can get to the point where the podcast and the YouTube channel can support me and my family. That'll happen one day. I know it will. I'm not worried about that. Right now, I'm more worried about getting you guys the information and getting you guys keeping you informed. By the way, if you want to check out that Facebook group, that Grand Design Major Issues group, I'm going to link that in the description box below. Dealer days has not gone well so far. So first off, let me reference this. I've called several sales reps from a certain mothership and they won't return my phone calls. In fact, there's cases where I've made 10-year relationships and they won't call me back. But then I've called a couple others that are on under another mothership, and they've answered the phone, and they've told me that Dealer Days is not going good. That Elkhart, Indiana dealer show is not going well at all. Dealers are not showing up. And if they are showing up, they're not really that interested in ordering any products. Remember what I said, folks. I told you the dealers can't say anything, but they say stuff by how much they order. The propaganda of Hershey was up 5% in attendance. Well, 5% up in attendance didn't equivalent to any sales. So it's not like the sales went up year over year 5%. In fact, they were down. Now, they weren't down significantly compared to 2023. Not at all. It was pretty close to the same from what I'm understanding. And a lot of the dealers focused in on selling 2023s and 2024s, not the 2025s. And when you put big flat commissions, show dogs love to sell those 24s and 23s because they're not worried about how much profit's in the deal. I'm going to get paid $500, $750, or $1,000 for selling a trailer at a loss. I'm in. I'll take any offer to the desk at that point. I mean, that's kind of how the whole process works, right? And now all of a sudden, Grand Design is the best and leader, and it had so much interest at the Hershey show. Interest? Who cares about interest? How many sales came out of it? How many people came to your display and asked you about your frames? I guarantee you a lot, but you're not going to say that, are you? You're not going to say that in the article. Heck no. Why would you even bring it up? Now, in Winnebago and Grand Design's defense, because I have to tell both sides of the story, in their defense, they are a publicly traded company, Winnebago. And as a publicly traded company, Winnebago does have a fiduciary responsibility to its investors. So in their mind, they're protecting, at least they think they're protecting their investors and their company's interest, all the jobs there. Because just imagine if Winnebago went out of business, like Lazy Days RV may go out of business, it would be a nightmare for the industry. How many jobs would be lost? Now, I don't agree with the way they're handling it at all. But when you look on the other side, they're trying to protect themselves because let's just say they admitted that there was a problem and they were doing a mass recall on all 2015 to 2025 Momentums and Solitudes to have, and Reflections to have the frame either fixed, bought out, inspected, whatever. That's tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars of cash flow out of the company's pocket. What do you think investors would do at that point that have Winnebago stock? Fire sale! Everything must go. Winnebago will be out of business in, what, a year? Maybe 2? Be broken up into pieces and sold off in bankruptcy court? So again, Winnebago's side of it is like trying to put a big protection blanket, put a force field around them. Anything with the word frame in it, it's deflected. No, rumor. No, they're full of crap. No, not true. Well, you know, you should go look at Lippard because Lippard's the one that made the frame. Frame failure? What's that? I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, that honey badger, he's so full of crap. In fact, let's get this corporate RV dealership YouTuber that's super famous, has over 300,000 subscribers. We'll just have him tell the general public that, you know, it's less than half of 1% of frames that have this problem. We'll have the CEO of a big corporation attached to the RV industry. We'll put him on a podcast and we'll have softball questions thrown his way and have him laughing and telling stories like nothing's wrong with the industry. Everything's great. Everything's so fabulous. Oh my God. That's their reaction. Not everybody's Bob Tiffin. Bob Tiffin was a genius, an absolute genius. Bob Tiffin started Tiffin Motorhomes, and when there was problems, he confronted them head on. Northwood Manufacturing, Genesis Supreme RV. What's the commonality? Not publicly traded companies at the time, even though Tiffin sold to Thor. Okay. Not a mass producer of stuff. Genesis Supreme RV, mainly Texas West. You don't see them on the East Coast. Very rare. Northwood Manufacturing, Outdoors RV. They have a game plan every year. And when they run into a problem, a major problem, they make changes. Because they don't have a choice. Because if they screw up as bad as Grand Design has allegedly done, they'd be out of business. They'd be gone. Not to say that Arctic Fox and Genesis Supreme RV and Tiffin are perfect and they never have problems. Not even coming close to say that. They all have their problems. Toolkit and sense of humor. Okay? And in some cases, there's some major problems. But it's not nearly the allegations that are against one company. And this one company built itself up on such a prestige, such a huge platform of it can never do wrong. It's the perfect unit. It's the perfect company. It's the perfect customer service. Nobody can do anything wrong. Number one, the darling, as some people have said. You can come from all that to all because of the way you handled it. Instead of nipping it in the butt, however long ago, whether it was 2018, whether it was 2014, whether it was 2020, whatever year this really became prominent, which we can't figure that out yet. We probably won't know that for years. Instead of nipping it in the butt and saying, hey, crap. Hey, we're starting to see I-beams crack. We're starting to see walls separate. Look at the warranty claims on all this stuff. We need to go back to the drawing board. We need to do right by the customer. We need to do right by the RV community. And we have to realize that our actions and our reactions don't just affect Winnebago and Grand Design. They affect the entire bloody industry. And they affect the customer base. They affect the people that are owners, because now dealers don't want to take their fifth wheels in trade. They want to allegedly tell you, nah, we're good. Well, you know, book on it 60 grand, we'll give you 15 because we really don't want the liability of reselling a product that we're not even sure if the frame is right. Dealers have said that publicly. Dealers have said that privately to me. So you not only are destroying yourselves with these allegations, but you're hurting more people. It's the old saying. There was a guy named Lonnie that told me when you pull one lever, you got to understand how many other levers get pulled with that decision. We're going to ignore and tell everybody it's just rumors. Thunk. Up. Values of fifth wheels drop. Up, values of Grand Design fifth wheels drop. Up, customers, the community as a whole lose trust in the entire industry, because if Grand Design's the best and they're having this problem, that means everything else is having worse problems. So you lost all trust, you're losing more trust, And it's already hard enough to sell this crap because interest rates are up, the economy's bad. You're going to put dealers out of business because you don't know how to handle it and nip it in the butt. But a stuff dealer is a loyal dealer, right?